Now to rising energy costs. This is something everybody's been dealing with lately. Well, today, Indiana Governor Mike Braun weighed in fact, just a couple hours ago.
Yes, he actually talked about how he thinks the state's plan to lower those costs is already paying off. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here with what he said. Emily, this is on top of a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, it sure is, Dustin and Felicia. You know, this isn't the first time Governor Braun has talked about how rising utility costs are a major issue for Hoosiers. In fact, it was a theme down here during the legislative session. The issue made it into one of lawmakers' priority bills. Today, Governor Braun touted some of the measures he thinks will help bring those costs down. The governor recently signed House Bill 1002 into law. Under it, utilities will face performance-based standards. Companies will be subject to rewards and penalties based on affordability and how fast service gets restored when it goes out. As part of that regulatory overhaul, shutoff restrictions were also put in place for summer months. Right now, they only exist for winter.
And I think it's been an imbalanced relationship between generators and ratepayers. And now there's a new sheriff in town. Quote that, it's going to be different. And I'm going to take risk where most wouldn't, and it's going to be a place that we're just getting started with.
But House and Senate Democrats say they offered ideas this session, too, to try and lower utility rates. Many of those ideas came in the form of amendments to bills. They say all those amendments were shot down. Here are a few examples they gave.
Giving Hoosiers, for example, the same sales tax break on their utility bills as data centers receive. Protecting Hoosiers from private equity buying out utility companies, providing some safeguards there.
And Democrats say that there are laws currently in place that the Republican supermajority put in place in past sessions that benefit utilities, giving them big profit margins. And coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you what the governor says he believes are good signs for ratepayers, but why Democrats say under these current laws that benefit utility companies having big profits, that they believe that the governor's hands and the hands of the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, their hands are really tied, say Democrats. Dustin, Felicia?
All right, we'll look forward to hearing from all of them.
Thanks, Emily.
Well, it was a very busy weekend for IMPD officers working the downtown district. Obviously, we had very nice weather this weekend. And the Big Ten women's tournament, that brought a lot of folks and unfortunately a lot of crime downtown. It started Friday night with a shooting on Pennsylvania Street near Washington. A man was critically injured and another man was arrested. And obviously on Saturday, Metro Police say a man who had been under the influence of cocaine was speeding away from officers and ended up dragging a IMPD and an off-duty security guard. That man was arrested. And then early Monday morning, police say a potential disturbance between two women boiled over into a shooting. This was on Meridian near Maryland Street. A woman was shot and another woman is facing charges.
Our officers are going to do what we can to mitigate and to address behavior before it happens and then hold those people accountable. But ultimately, those people involved in dangerous, reckless, illegal activity are the ones that are responsible.
And all new this afternoon, the Marion County coroner has identified a man killed in a shooting at a troubled apartment complex over the weekend. This happened at the Meadows Apartments on the Near East Side. That's where officers say they found 28-year-old Cody Gerard shot. He died at the hospital. A neighbor says he heard people arguing outside, then everything went quiet before shots rang out. Some of those shots hit his apartment.
It was probably like 10 cars right here. They all scattered. Then not too long after, I seen police pull up. Then they brought the stretcher, and I was like, they done taped it up. I'm like, somebody probably done lost their life.
We've learned 4 people were detained at the scene. No word yet whether police have made any arrests.
And Iran has a new leader, the son of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who was killed by airstrikes at the start of the U.S.-Israeli conflict with Iran. This, as the Pentagon is now identifying a 7th soldier killed. Brian Abel has the latest from Washington on day 10 of the conflict.
The new leader of Iran is someone U.S. President Donald Trump previously said would be unacceptable. He is the son of the previous supreme leader killed at the beginning of the conflict in Iran. And Hamani's installment is viewed by some experts as an act of defiance by the regime. You may remember unconditional surrender is what President Trump said it will take to end this conflict. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was asked at a 60 Minutes interview what unconditional surrender looks like.
It means we set the terms. We'll know when they're not capable of fighting. There'll be a point where they'll have no choice but to do that.
Hegseth, in that interview, also not ruling out the possibility of U.S. boots on the ground. And that potential is leading to fears by some of the possibility of a military draft in America. Fears not quelled by the White House press secretary in a Fox News interview.
It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table.
As the conflict continues, the price of oil skyrockets, reaching its highest since 2022. And the Pentagon says the 7th U.S. soldier killed in this conflict is 26-year-old Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, fatally wounded at the beginning of the war during a strike on a U.S. airbase in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Lebanon's president is calling for direct talks with Israel and an immediate ceasefire, vowing to disarm Iran-backed Hezbollah. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
I talked with Senator Jim Banks about all of this today. He says he believes the short increase in oil prices will be worth it in the long run, and he told me he still believes this conflict will be over in a matter of days. Here's part of our conversation.
Not weeks, not months, certainly not something that would drag on for years. It's my hope that this will be over in a very short period of time, and we've heard from some administration officials who give me some hope that that would be the case.
So you've heard that this could be over within days and not weeks and months?
Yeah, I think everything that we want to achieve and accomplish, we can in a matter of days, and that's been my message back to the White House. Let's do what we have to do in a short window of time, take out all of their bad guys and their military. Let's use the full force of the U.S. military to do that. And I've received assurances that hopefully this will be over in a short period of time.
You can watch our entire interview online.
New at 4, we've just learned the identity of the body found in a drainage ditch on Friday in Greenwood. The Johnson County coroner sharing that information in the last few minutes. The person has been identified as 70-year-old Werner Gatchian, a man who's been missing from New Whiteland for 6 months. Police issued a silver alert for Gatchian after he was last seen August 31st. He had dementia, and at the time, police believed he was in danger and in need of medication. On Friday, his remains were found in a drainage ditch on State Road 135, south of Stones Crossing Road, about 5 miles from his home. The cause and manner of death are still being determined.